the episode starts, and it's seen that Jaxon is telling Martha that they were there for such a big deal, but Martha was silent and she was not talking properly, and it's unlike her nature. And then he asks her what happened to her. Martha says she was just not feeling well, and then Jaxon starts to talk about the deal and the amount of the money. But Martha was lost in some other thoughts, so she stopped him and said, as she's not feeling well, so Jaxon should sleep in his suit for the night. And Jaxon agrees to her, and taking a glass of drink in his hand, he leaves towards his suit. Mamaki was tensed because it was too late at night, and Camo was still out of home, and Mthetho enters there and says, Ma'am Nomeva is out for some of her spiritual ceremony, and asks Mamaki why she's upset. And Mamaki starts to shout about Camo and says she shouldn't have left her alone at the bar, and also talks about Camo and Magolida. And hearing all this, Mthetho says he's tired, and he has no time for her noise, and he goes to sleep at the same time. Camo comes home, and Mamaki starts to shout at her for doing whatever she wants, and warns her not to meet Magolida anymore. But Camo doesn't agree to it, and says, I can manage myself and you're not my mother. But Mamaki says Camo is standing under her roof, and if she didn't listen to her, then Mamaki would complain her dad about it, and shouting at Camo, she leaves from there, and Camo was shocked seeing her behavior. Mthetho asks Madlamini to do the dishes and iron the clothes, and she's going to see her sister Maggie from the church, and leaves. Kaisi enters, and Madlamini tells him that she's having bad day since she came from school and she has her homework undone. Then she tells Kaisi that she has joined a group chat of her school, and Kaisi tells her to leave the group because it will turn into gossip session after some days. But Madlamini says she shared some notes there, and now everyone is praising her, and she tells Kaisi that she's thinking of selling notes and exercise books as a business, and Kaisi starts to make fun of her. Tina was done with her spiritual performance, and on the other side, Ngsuta was suffering and licking the floor out of pain, and Sarafina was scared seeing Ngsusa's condition. Then Ngsuta manages to stand up and says, she's powerful, Nomeva is powerful, but if she kills me, her ancestors will go to hell. Then pointing finger at Sarafina, Ngsuta says, I'll kill you both. But Sarafina couldn't understand anything, and she was afraid and confused about whatever happened. Jaxon and Martha were having breakfast, and Ronald comes and joins them. Jaxon greets him and orders coffee for him, and then Jaxon leaves as he had a meeting and tells Ronald that his driver will give him a tour and leaves Ronald alone with Martha. After Jaxon leaves, Ronald tells Martha that he's happy to see her after such long time, and Martha asks since when he joined real estate development, and Ronald replied, HD has diversive business and say a lot has changed since they met. Martha was about to get up from there, but he grabs her hand and forcefully makes her sit, warning her that he would complain Jaxon if she acts rude to him. Martha forcefully sits again, and Ronald says, don't worry, I won't tell Jaxon our little secrets. Hearing that, Martha feels angry and leaves from there. Petunia comes with some goods and hand them over to Mamaki, and Mamaki starts to talk to her about Camo and says, despite knowing Magolida is her ex, Camo is still throwing herself on him, and Petunia says Camo is a grown-up woman now, and if she likes Magolida then let her live her life, and suggests Mamaki to not to think about all this, focus on her own life. Camo and Magolida were in a room, and Camo was trying a cocktail made by Magolida, and then Camo expresses her feelings that she liked Magolida since she came there and asks him not to let Mamaki know about it, or else she would complain Songanga, and Magolida says he's scared of Songanga, but he can risk everything to be with Camo, and they kiss each other. Jaxon asks Ronald what's his opinion on investing in his resort, and Ronald says he's fully convinced and he will invest in Jackson's resort, and Jaxon becomes happy. Martha was upset, but still tries to pretend being happy in front of Jaxon. Caesar was in his house, and a man comes with some documents which show that he and his wife Thandeswa were out of the country, and Caesar gives an amount of money to that man, and he leaves taking the money. After he leaves, Caesar gets a call from Ngsuta and says, we'll have to cancel the rituals, the killing and all. I need to find Nomeva, and I have to find her before she finds me. But Caesar asks Ngsuka to follow the plan they made and commanded to kill Nomeva for good.